What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about The Mutilator. So I've seen this movie before, and just to let you all know, I'm a fan of it. I think this is a very solid 80s slasher film. Uh, the reason I chose to rewatch this and review it today is because, you know, this movie takes place during fall break, and it was originally titled Fall Break. And I've mentioned this in a couple videos, but I'm currently in college. I'm a little bit older. I'm like in my mid-20s, but I'm in college, and we're currently on fall break. We haven't even had a fall break like the past 3 years. We just didn't even have it at my school, but we got a fall break, so I didn't have to go to class yesterday, so that was pretty darn tight. So yeah, I like to kind of review stuff, uh, like during the time of year when it's appropriate to review it. Like, I'm doing all the horror stuff this month, and summertime we're doing the summer camp slashers. Christmas we're doing Christmas movies. So yeah, I'm on fall break right now, and I thought, what better movie to watch than The Mutilator? And you know like I said, it's October. This is a horror film. I'm only doing horror, so it checks all the boxes. But yeah, like I said, I'm a fan of this movie. I think it's a solid slasher movie. It's the thing about it is it's pretty typical. It doesn't. It's a pretty typical run of the mill slasher movie. The setup and the story is nothing new, nothing fresh. It's just like a by the book slasher movie. But the thing that really makes this movie enjoyable and sets this movie apart are the kills and the practical effects. This movie has outstanding kills, outstanding practical effects, and I feel like this is like an underappreciated slasher. No one really talks about this. Maybe people do, but I mean, it's not talked about as much as the real big 80s slashers. And I mean, in addition to the great kills, there is some good suspense, but there's also some just random funny moments, like the whole fall break theme song, which I'll get into later. It's got some random WTF moments, which, I mean, that's a big reason why I like a lot of 80s slashers. Also, like stuff like Pieces, where you have like the scene where she's like, "You bastards, bastards!" Like just those like WTF moments where it's like, it's still a straightforward horror movie, but there's some maybe like unintentionally funny little scenes and sequences. So yeah, the fall break song, that's iconic. Like whenever this movie's talked about, people always mention that. It's kind of like too, like, like Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, Garbage Day, like that type of stuff. I love that stuff, like the kind of just unintentionally funny, memorable stuff. But yeah, moving on. I'm gonna do a plot summary first, and then I want to talk about the open sequence for a sec. So I'm just gonna give you a quick little couple sentence plot summary. So in the beginning of the film, you have this young boy. It's his dad's birthday. To surprise his dad, he's cleaning all his guns. While he's cleaning this rifle, he accidentally shoots it through the wall and kills his mom. The dad comes home, finds the dead mother, and he just completely snaps. You can tell, like, he just at that point he lost it. He just totally lost it. So then it fast forwards, and the kid from the beginning, Ed, he's all grown up. He's in college. He's hanging with his friends at the bar, and his dad, who he hasn't really had a relationship with, he hasn't seen in a while, calls him up, and he's like, "You need to close up my condo, my beachfront condo, and you know, he's sketched out. He's like, this guy doesn't call me for years. He's a creeper. I don't want to do it. Like, why is he calling me now? This is strange. But all his friends, it's fall break and they don't have anything to do. They don't have anywhere to go, and they're like, oh, a beachfront condo, that could be cool. So Ed and all his friends, they go to the condo, and people start getting killed. So that is the basic plot summary there. And I talked about the opening sequence, and I just want to touch on that a little bit more because I thought it was really good. You know, I like those type of opening sequences where, okay, so in movies like the original Halloween, there's no rhyme or reason to why Michael Myers snaps. He just snaps, which I love that about that movie. And that works for a lot of horror movies and slasher movies, but I also like a lot of slasher movies where there's a setup as to why the killer snapped and why they want revenge or why they're, psychotic now. So that was really cool. Like, just stuff that I was thinking of, like, like the opening scene in Pieces where, the kid chops up his mom, or like The Burning where Cropsey gets burned and then that's the reason he wants to get revenge. Like, as much as I like stuff like the original Halloween where there's no motive, there's no rhyme or reason, I like these slasher movies that have this this turning point, this one event that just makes the killer snaps and gives them a reason to kill. So I really like that. And when I was watching that, just something that I was thinking and something that I wanted to mention is, man, the lack of gun safety just made me absolutely cringe, because I go shooting once in a while. I go to the range once in a while. So it's a fun time. Not that much, but once in a blue moon I go to the shooting range and stuff. And when I was growing up, my dad was like so adamant about gun safety, and he was always like, whenever we would go shooting, it was always like, okay, you always have to treat the gun like it's loaded. And he would always say, people always get killed by the gun that's not loaded, because people are like, oh, it's not loaded, whatever. So me being a guy who is all about gun safety, seeing that opening scene, just like the lack of gun safety just made me absolutely cringe. Like, the guns were not locked up. They were not like, and the kid, he's like looking down the barrel, he's just pointing it willy-nilly. I mean for the movie, it makes sense. Like, if the kid was practicing gun safety, there would be no event that set the killer off. But me just being a guy who is all about gun safety, I was just like, what the heck, man? What, like, this is crazy. I was just blown away. I was like, what the heck? I mentioned that the kills are absolutely fantastic in this movie, so I'm going to get into some specific examples here. So, one of the best kills in the movie is this guy, Mike. He's like the blonde-haired guy. He's killed, so on Wikipedia it says it's a boat propeller. I thought initially it was a chainsaw, and then when I was watching the end credits, I thought it was a weed whacker, but we'll say it's a boat propeller. He's killed with this boat propeller, and you see the aftermath, and his whole chest is just all ripped up. There's just giant pieces of flesh ripped off, and it's all red, and you see like you don't see like his tendons exposed, but you see all these just gaping wounds, and it looks incredible. And another kill that I really like is there's this police officer, and he gets stabbed in the head with a machete, and then his head gets chopped off. And some movies like have super unrealistic head chop off scenes where it's just like, that looks so fake, that looks terrible. This head chop off looked fantastic. The machete in the head looked great. I really don't recall there being a single cutaway kill in this movie. You see everything, and everything looks fantastic. The practical effects in this movie are fantastic. Like, the kills look really realistic. They look really good. This one girl, she gets a giant hook in her lady parts. That was just like, I was just like I almost had to look away, because I was just thinking, if I got something like that going on in my genitals, that would be, I was just, even though she was like a woman, I was just like putting myself in her shoes, and I'm like, man, that would be gnarly. That would not be cool. And then this one gentleman, he gets a pitchfork through the neck. That looks really good. And I'm gonna get into, this is gonna be a spoiler here, so if you have not seen the movie, I'm warning you all. But towards the at the end of the movie, like the climax, the killer is like the main guy Ed and his girlfriend, they drive into the killer, and he's chopped in half. It looks fantastic, and he just chops this cop's leg off. Awesome stuff. And it just, I always thought, like, the first time I saw this, I just thought that was so creepy. He's just on the ground. He's just a torso cut in half, and he's just so insane. He's just unrelenting. He's still trying to, kill anyone that he can. So he's like, I'm gonna go down, but I'm gonna take this cop with me. So it was just creepy. The whole climax was intense, when they're trying to escape in the car, and the car is flooded and it's not starting, and they see that, they flick the lights on, and they see that the killer has moved. He's not, dead. And then he's on top of the roof trying to choke out the main guy, Ed. That whole climax was absolutely fantastic. But yeah, the kills and the practical effects in this movie are top notch. That's the main reason why I like this movie, because like I said, it's pretty typical. It's not doing anything that different than other slasher movies, but the kills in this movie are absolutely phenomenal. Just top tier. Moving on from the kills, I kind of mentioned the Fall Break song, and I just want to get into some fun moments, because there are quite a few funny moments in the movie. So yeah, at the beginning of the movie, you hear the Fall Break song, and it's so funny because it's just completely out of place. This is a horror movie. It's supposed to have a dark tone, a dark atmosphere, and you have this upbeat Fall Break theme song, and it's almost like something that would be on a sitcom. It's like, we're going on a fall break, fall break. It's awesome, and it's funny in the beginning because it's out of place, but nothing really sinister has happened yet besides the opening sequence. But it's really funny because the song plays again at the end credits, and it's like after all this totally messed up stuff has happened, after everyone's died, after the killer's been cut in half and killed, then the credits roll, and it's just, we're going on a fall break, fall break. It's absolutely awesome. Like, the Fall Break song is funny in the beginning, but the Fall Break song hits different after everyone has died and just all this morbid stuff has happened. It's just like it's just like credits roll. Oh yeah, we're going on a fall break. It's great. I can't sing. I don't know what I'm doing, but the Fall Break song is iconic. Everyone who talks about this movie talks about that song. That's iconic stuff. That's super memorable stuff. It's a beautiful song. I mean, I should just listen to that in my free time. I'll listen to songs from movies like the Sleepaway Camp theme. I'll listen to that, or like the Class of Nukem High theme, the Sergeant Kabuki Man NYPD theme. I like a nice. I'm a sucker for a good theme song, so I might have to like throw the headphones on and just listen to this later. I don't know. It's a good song, man. Don't hate. Um, Another fun moment was when the one guy he's at the little corner store and he's buying he's buying a 6 pack and he's like 10% off for seniors. That's discrimination. You know, I'm a law student. How about you're discriminating anemone. You're discriminating against me because of my age? That's not cool. I know my rights. I'm a law student. Okay? How about this? How about I buy 2 6 packs and then you give me that 10% off discount? And then when he drives away, he acts like, he's like, man, I just pulled a fast one on these store clerks, these store owners. Like, I just got 2 6 packs, 10% off. And then he drives away and the store owners, like, they're talking to each other and they're like, man, another sucker college kid came in and, talked themselves into buying 2 6 packs instead of one with the 10% off discount. That was really funny. And I mean, the store owners are still making heck of profits because they probably mark it up like 3 times what it's worth. So it's like they're at the end of the day they're selling more product, they're making more money. So maybe they put the sign up because they know all these college kids are gonna try to negotiate with them and stuff. So they're like, we're just trying to get that guap. This is our little scheme here. We're gonna say, oh, senior discount, because all these young cats come around and they just try to get the 10% discount. They just buy more stuff. They just drop $50 here. So that whole sequence was really fun. And then once they get the 6 packs, they're just immediately all drinking and driving, which was so funny because they're drinking while they're driving, but then once they get to the condo, they're not drinking. So it's like you maybe you don't drink when you're driving, and then when you get there drink. But then I don't know, like, hey, whatever floats your boat, I guess. That's what I love about, like 80s movies. People are they're just so nonchalantly just drinking and driving, like in like Carrie, John Travolta's character, or I don't know. There's so many instances where so many different movies where 80s movies where people are just drinking and driving. It's just like no big deal. Because you'll like talk to like older individuals and they're like, yeah, like it wasn't a big deal back then. Like drinking and like if you were drinking and driving, it's like a slap on the wrist. Like especially if you're like a young kid, they would just be like, yeah, just we'll take the beer, just go on about your way. Like, man, it's so interesting. Stuff was different back then. I mean, drinking and driving is not cool, but it would have been cool to like grow up back in the day, just because you could get away with all kinds of stuff. It was a good time. You could party for days. You could go crazy. And then another, oh yeah, and then just I don't know. I was just noticing, like, so they're drinking natural light the whole time, and the cans, they look different than the ones nowadays. But I'm telling you, I've been to a couple liquor stores recently, and I think they brought back that same old school like 80s natural light can where it's like the white can. I've definitely this one liquor store that I go to, I feel like they for sure have that. That's a good design. Like I like that, like a lot of beer companies do that. They'll bring back like the throwback designs, and I don't know, they just look mad cool. I should pick up some natural light. It's not a bad beer whatsoever. It's a good like cheap one, You can't go wrong with the cheap beers. People are like elitists with drinking. They're like, "Oh, I won't drink that cheap stuff." Like, get out of here, man. Like, I don't know. I don't like I don't like these like elitist drinkers. Like, I only drink straight. If you mix whiskey with Coke, you're ruining it. That's not hardcore. Like, sorry if I want something that tastes nice. I mean, geez, like all these drinking elitists. It's like at the end of the day, it still f's you up. So like we're getting to the same place. It's still doing the job that I need it to do. Who cares if it's cheap? Who cares? I mean, get a effing life, man. But anyways, I'm rambling here. Yeah, I need to pick up some of those old school natural light cans next time I hit that liquor store. So that'll be good. I'll cash out. I'll get a like a 24 pack or something. These fools, they only got 2 6-packs and there's 6 people. That's like 2 beers each, but they just have unlimited beers throughout the movie. Like they'll open the refrigerator. I think it looked like they kept it in the freezer, like the top compartment. Like they're not even opening the refrigerator. They're opening the freezer, and there's like 3 beers in there. But then they just have unlimited beers. I don't know. I mean, that's not a bad problem to have. So I don't know why I'm hating on that. So that's pretty darn cool, actually. And then the last funny moment was the one guy, he's in bed with his girlfriend, and she's all like, go out and look for our friends. They haven't come back. Go out and look for them before we lock up. And he's like, man, I don't want to, because he's trying to get some. It's late at night. They're in bed, and she's like, if you go out and look for them, you'll see a little something when you come back. We might do a little something when you come back. And then it's just sped up. Like he gets ready, like immediate, like it's like fast motion. Like, oh, let me throw my clothes on. Okay, I'm gonna get some when I get back. Okay, let me throw my clothes on. I'm gonna go find them. Because that's a great motivator. Like if your girl's saying you can get some if you go find these people, like, you best believe he's gonna find these people ASAP, man. So that was it was like fast motion and had this little like fun little song with it. So that was fun. So I mean, there are a lot of, in addition to the great kills, there are a lot of funny, memorable moments in this movie. So you can't go wrong. This is solid movie. And the last couple things I have on my notes here are just random things. So the main guy, Ed, and his girlfriend, they're sleeping with all their clothes on, and they're wearing like sweaters or flannels. Like okay, you don't have to put on pajamas. I don't sleep in pajamas, but maybe get down to just a shirt and underwear. I don't know. You're gonna sleep in jeans and a flannel? Who does that? Maybe they. But I mean, they had the covers over them. It's not like they just like fell on the bed and they would just pass out because they were so tired. Like, what the heck? And then another weird random thing is, okay, so Ed is showing his friends all his dad's like trophies, like not actual trophies, but like all the animals and fish that he's had mounted from his hunting and fishing conquests, and then he just whips out a picture. He's like, oh yeah, this is this guy that my dad accidentally killed in a boating accident, and he was already skeptical of going there. He was like, this is a little fishy, my dad's calling me up. But wouldn't you be extremely sketched out if this dude whose house you're staying at just keeps a picture of some guy he accidentally killed? Like, okay, he accidentally killed someone. You could play that off. Okay, maybe it really was an accident. But if you're keeping the picture of the guy's mutilated corpse, here's your sign. Get the F out of here. I was like, what the heck, man? And then I didn't even write this in my notes, but I was just this other scene that was kind of just like a WTF moment was the one guy the guy who's like talking to the people about getting more beer, like the guy who's going to law school. He just puts this mask on for 1 second and scares Ed's girlfriend, and it's just like a simple joke, and he just puts it on for 1 second, and her reaction was like so over the top. She's like, I'm paraphrasing, I don't really remember, but she's like, why would you put that mask on and scare me? And why would you put that mask on and scare me? Why are you joking with me? What's the big idea? What's the problem? And then she just like hip tosses him and just like whips out the wrestling moves and just throws him on his back. That was kind of an unintentionally funny moment because she just overreacted like crazy. Like the dude put the mask on for 1 second and he was joking and she's like, "Stop with the jokes. This is not funny. Stop trying to scare me. What are you doing?" Hip toss. Let me just assault my friends because they played a joke on me for 1 second. Boom. She had some good wrestling moves going on. I wouldn't want to mess with her low key. Yeah, she was about it. Whew, she could have just taken that fool out. That girl had the moves, man. She's about to just go crazy on that fool. But anyways, I kind of talked about a bunch of just random stuff, but yeah, that's pretty much all I had in my notes. And like I said, you got a bunch of memorable, funny moments. You got an iconic theme song. You can't go wrong with a good theme song. I'm a sucker for a good theme song. And like I said, the setup sequence with, you know, Ed killing his mom, that was great. All the kills, all the practical effects are great. There's some great suspense. The climax, the whole third act, when they're trying to get away from the killer and survive, was excellent, super tense. So I think this movie it's a solid slasher movie. You know, I feel like it's underappreciated. People don't talk about it. When I initially saw the trailer, like before I had ever seen this movie, I thought this movie was gonna suck. Like the trailer didn't do anything for me. It just seemed like a bland, run-of-the-mill slash movie. I'm like, this is just lame. Like, there's really nothing that stands out here, and it's like the killer doesn't even have a mask. Which, I mean, the killer doesn't have to have a mask, but I kind of like a killer with an iconic look. I don't know. Maybe I'm basic or something. Who knows? But yeah, when I initially started, you know, researching stuff about this movie, I was like, this seems kind of lame. I don't know, but once I first saw it, I'm like, man, I'm glad I gave this movie a chance, because this movie is solid. So if you're like I was, where you think, you know what, this isn't a huge slasher movie that's, you know, always talked about, and you know, it's kind of seems run of the mill. You know, don't judge a book by its cover. If you watch the trailer and you think it's lame, don't judge this movie by the trailer. This is a super solid slasher movie. It's a great horror movie. It's awesome. If you're a fan of 80s slashers, definitely check this out. So that's my recommendation. But with all that being said, you know, I said everything that I wanted to say. So I'm going to wrap things up here. And before I go, I just want to thank you all very much for watching. And peace out.